Hey everyone, Kyle here, and in this short video I'm going to be showing you a tip for how to record pickups for audio description. So if you've ever been asked to do a pickup for audio description or you ever need to do one, a lot of people starting out with voiceover, and I mean this also applies to like really anything for voiceover. So whether it's audio description narration, audiobooks, voiceover reads for commercial promo, anything really. First of all, let's go into like what is a pickup. A pickup is something which basically means that if someone were to come to you and say, "Hey, for line 30, we need a pickup for this." A pickup just basically means we need you to re-record this line for whatever reason. So, for example, if you've made a mistake, which in this case I made a mistake in a pronunciation of a particular name. So other cases may include things like if the wording changes for that line. Maybe it was recorded and then the person who wrote the script, whether it's yourself or the writer, went back and changed the wording, then that you're going to have to re-record either that whole line or parts of it. And so I'm going to go over just to show you how I would approach recording a pickup. The first thing you need to do is to think ahead, right? So what do I mean by that? So when you are recording a pickup, you need to think about how your original performance sounded and also how your new recording will sound. And what you're going to want to try to do is try to match your original performance as much as possible. So the tone, the energy, if that makes sense. Because otherwise, if someone's listening back to whatever you recorded in a production, they will be able to tell that you recorded at a different time or on a different day. And I've been in situations where a few days to a week later, I'm asked to do a pickup for something. I've also encountered cases where I've been asked to go back to an episode I've recorded, say 3 months ago, to fix an issue or to record a new description or whatever. So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that what you record today sounds almost similar to what you recorded, at the time that you recorded everything else. So a good tip to doing that would be to listen back to your original performance and then try to, match your tone when you go to replace whatever part you need to whatever you need to record a pickup for. So in this example, I'm going to show you kind of where we're going to be re-recording a pickup. And I think it was 19. Yeah, okay, this is the one right here. Dara arrives with Ulrich's horn. So Ulrich's. The correct pronunciation in this case was Ulrich's horn. And how we can tell. So if we go back to, let me go back. Okay, let me turn up my my fader on the OV a little bit, so it might get a bit loud. So let's get ready.
Jared, that must be Ulrich's horn.
Ulrich, right? Let's listen to that part again.
Jared, that must be Ulrich's horn.
So we have our source, we have our reference. So now I'm just going to lower it by 30 dB because I like being able to hear the OV in my headphones without it overly distracting me as I record. It's how I work best, let's just say, for lack of a better explanation. So what is it? Yeah, okay, so this is the one I need to pick up, right? This one. Dara arrives with Ulrich's horn. So the best way to do this would be to enable, I use Logic Pro, right? So what I love about Logic Pro is the ability to use a feature called track alternatives. And to turn them on, I feel like I should make this as part of my template because I use them so much, is I can right-click on one of the tracks, and then I go down to track header components, and then go all the way down to track alternatives. And this little arrow thing will pop up. And this is called the track alternatives menu. And if we go into it, we can then go ahead and, so we have two options really. We have new, which basically just nukes everything on this track. And then we have duplicate. One of the things I like about track alternatives, one of the reasons I use it all the time, is because it allows me to go back and A/B my pickup to make sure that, yep, this sounds just as good as the original performance. So in this video, I'm going to take you through that process of recording the pickup and just making sure that everything sounds good. So in this case, we're going to duplicate. And as you can see here, the letter B is shown up. That basically allows you to go in here and choose between your A and your B alternative. This is like A-Bing, right? If you're familiar with that term, it's the before and the after. Let's go ahead and record this this pickup. So let's listen to our original performance again before we delete this clip. Dara arrives with Ulrich's horn. Okay, let's delete it and try. So let's record. Dara arrives with Ulrich's horn. Let's try it again. Dara arrives with Ulrich's horn. So let's clean this up and realign it. Man, I love shortcut keys. All right. And let's have a listen to what we recorded, and then we'll go back and compare kind of what we had before. So this is our new pickup. Dara arrives with Ulrich's horn. And then A. Dara arrives with Ulrich's horn. See, it sounds very similar. Dara arrives with Ulrich's horn. And some of the surrounding, blocks like this. She turns. The professor regards her sternly. Kyra, Dara, and Imogen run along the street. Peter and Steve are still at the motorbike. And then Dara arrives with Ulrich's horn. And then after that, puzzled, Peter and Officer Glenn look at their phones and all the flashing car alarms. They cross the road to examine a car. So yeah, that is how to record a pickup. And then after that, you export your file, send it off, do whatever you need to do. And that's it. For anyone curious, the episode being featured in this video is from a show called The Bureau of Magical Things. It's Season 1, Episode 4, Gone to the Dogs. It's probably one of my favorite shows, and I've recently taken up redoing the audio description for it with some help from the ADCC, which is, for those who don't know, the ADCC is my little independent team. We don't get paid for anything. We're all volunteers at the end of the day, but we do produce fan-made AD, so kind of a shameless plug there. Anyway, I hope that helps people starting out with AD, understanding the whole idea of what a pickup is and how to record, and also how to think about how to record a pickup. Because recording a pickup just isn't all about just putting in a new recording and calling it a day. You have to put care into how you record your pickup because, and starting out, I've made a lot of these mistakes as well, where I record a pickup and it sounds nothing like the original. Now, maybe we can make an exception for some cases where, let's say the director will come back to you and be like, we need this to be a bit more intense, or we need this read to be a bit softer, more intimate. In that case, deviating from your original performance is acceptable. But in audio description, 9 times out of 10, whenever a studio asks you to do a pickup for whatever it is you're working on, whether it's a show or a movie, and they're like, we need a pickup for this line, 9 times out of 10, they're expecting you to match your tone and your energy going into the pickup compared to how it was before. And there's a very good reason for that. Let me explain why. As a producer and a mixer myself, when I ask people for pickups, and myself included, the reason I want people to match their original performance, and this also boils down to your recording levels as well. So, between pickups and between your original performance and your pickups, your your recording levels have to match as well. And the reason for me stressing, oh, you need to match your original performance as close as possible is because my processing, or the processing, I'm speaking generally here, the processing that's on your voiceover track already is dialed in to that original performance. And so if you can try to get as close to matching that as possible, like as close as possible, then you're going to make the lives of everybody downstream much easier. Everybody's going to be happier if you try to match your original performance as much as possible. But of course, there is the odd exception here and there where they'll come back and say, hey, can you be a bit softer on this read? Or can you be a bit more dramatic? Kind of thing, right? So anyways, I hope this helps. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you all around.